Big J's beef. Hey guys, how you doing tonight? It's Big J here. So I'm going to talk about some beef that I've got. Now, today, I saw an article like I usually do. I'm on the internet looking at stuff, Star Trek stuff. And there's this article that came up about Walter Koenig, who played Chekov in the original series and the Next Generation movies. I'm sorry, original series movies. Geez, there I am, off to a good start. Original series movies, TNG movie, Star Trek Generations, but that's beside the point. So if you don't know this already, back in the 60s, there was a big craze going on with bands like the Beatles, the Monkees, and with Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry wanted to appeal to this audience, this younger audience that was part of this new music craze. So they get Walter Koenig to come in to play Chekov, a character of Russian origin. That would explain why he had that big old hair thing. Because if you go back and look at the band, the Monkees, you'll see that the character of Chekov, Walter Koenig, they try to have him resemble Davy Jones, who was one of the singers on the Monkees. And you know what? Just to make sure that I've got that right, I'm going to do a search, because you know how I can be with my memory sometimes. And yeah, that's exactly it. Davy Jones. Believe in Big J. That's why I was telling everyone. Okay, so anyway, this takes me to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Couple interesting things I want to tell you about Chekov and his role in Wrath of Khan is that this movie was based off of the original series episode Space Seed. Now, in coming up with the idea of a sequel to the motion picture, there's a lot of pressure on the studio for this. Basically, Star Trek II was going to be the last chance for Star Trek as a movie property. Motion picture did not get as much of a profit as was expected or wanted. So the answer to that was decrease the budget, give this movie the last chance that Star Trek would have. So writers, producers went back to the original series. What can they pull from there to really grab the audience, make something better? They fell on Space Seed. Original episode with Khan, introduction of Khan, Noonien and Singh, an augment from the eugenics wars in the 90s, took place in the 90s. And so the movie was based off of that episode. Now, you go back and watch Space Seed. I think you know where I'm going with this. See who was in that episode. Okay, now that you've done that, moving along a bit in Wrath of Khan. So Chekov, now first officer on the USS Reliant. The Reliant is looking for a planet suitable for the Genesis testing. I almost said weapon, the device that would turn inanimate matter to living matter. Chekov and this character, Captain Terrell, his commanding officer on the Reliant, they go to the planet. They don't realize they're on CETI Alpha 5. This is CETI Alpha 5. Okay, so bad acting by me. So anyway, they come across Khan unexpectedly. They did not realize they were on that planet. So Khan reveals himself to Chekov and Captain Terrell. And Chekov ominously says, Khan. So Khan looks at Terrell. I do not know you. And to Chekov, but you, I never forget a face, Mr. Chekov, isn't it? Okay, so here's my beef. You know damn well Chekov was not in Space Seed, was not in that episode. And I'm not taking this whole, Chekov was on the Enterprise during that episode. He was a security officer that was just walking around on the ship, and he made la. No. So here's the problem that I have with this. If you were going to, and here's a funny thing. Now, this is urban legend, but Walter Koenig knew damn well that Chekov was not in that episode, said nothing during this scene or during the production of it, he did not want to lose some of that precious screen time that you don't necessarily get if you're in the same scene or around the same scenes as William Shatner, who really took up a lot of the scenery. Another interesting side note is you should look into the cut dialogue of the inspection, the outer inspection of the Enterprise when they're on the travel pod, Kirk and Sulu and Uhura. There's supposed to be a line in there of Sulu talking about taking command of the Excelsior. At William Shatner's insistence, that line was cut out. If you go back and watch the scene, you can kind of tell the editing was a little not quite right. So anyway, there's that. Where was I? I have no idea. Okay, so I know where I was going. Here's the problem that I have with this. The writing. If you're going to have us buy in on this movie, on Wrath of Khan, and you got to do smart writing. Don't just expect the fan base to come up with their own explanation because of a mistake. You watch this entire episode. There's a way to write around this part of the movie of Wrath of Khan and acknowledge the thing that you're making, the mistake, the plot hole in there. So there it is. That's my beef. Don't have the fans try to cover up for writing mistakes that you made, placing characters where they were not. And yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to call it a night on this one. Chekov claiming to be in the episode Space Seed. Not happening. Good night.
Where's the beef?
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your ears. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.